Okay, it's just prepping, setting up your meeting. All right, we are live.
Are we?
Yeah, let me
Welcome to
turn
Perfect
off the audio.
Organism. Oh,
Sorry, 1 second. I was talking on my live thing as well. Okay, good.
welcome to Perfect Organism, the Alien Saga podcast. It's this very early hour, at least for me, and we have some breaking news to discuss briefly.
Massive breaking news. We got a trailer for Alien Earth. This is huge. We've been waiting for this for such a long time. I cannot get over how great this looks. It just dropped literally 20 minutes ago. I've watched it 3 times to try to get some notes. But it's I love when we catch things right when they drop because you can see the views go from like 12 to 10,000. It's like it's exciting. It reminds me of when the Romulus trailer, finally came out.
Yeah, this is really exciting. I've seen the trailer 3 times as well. There's so much in it. There's so much great stuff in it. It's gorgeous. It's expansive. It's like world building. It's everything. It's new. There's much of it that feels different and new for the Alien films. Also, some of it that feels familiar as well. I'm really, really excited about this.
Yeah, I think that the balance between new and familiar is seems to be really like dead on for me.
Mm,
And I agree, the world building in particular, like there's just all of these new elements being introduced that feel like they're things that Alien has. And they're kind of in the Alien sandbox, but
hmm
they're being treated, in kind of different ways, which I think is a great recipe for like a nice way to structure a long story that's not just a movie where people get chest bursted and have to face aliens, but it's like a long kind of lattice that you can build a whole story on. Um,
hmm
just kind of going from the beginning with some of the new stuff. So we see Neverland Research Island, which is where, all those outdoor scenes that we've seen these tiny, tiny glimpses of for the last like 6 months here and there. Apparently, those are all taking place on this Neverland Research Island. And on that island is this little girl who is the consciousness that becomes Wendy as a hybrid. And we see her, she looks like she's has some sort of a disease and she's being transferred into this new body.
Yeah, it looks very interesting. Yeah, it did look like she had cancer or some type of something where they needed to kind of move her, but she looked like the first of her kind based off what we've read from FX. Very, very interesting. Um, on that table there, she reminded me of David, the scene, the commercial for David back
Definitely.
in
I thought
Prometheus.
that
It was
too.
on a
Yeah.
very similar commercial, a very similar table. I like that continuity there. It's just, yeah, I'm still processing and taking in what I'm seeing. It's going to take me, also because it's early for me, it's going to take me a while to get through it. But there's the scene too of the African American character standing in that doorway with blood on the walls. And it reminded me of a scene from Alien 3. Like tone, blood on the wall, everything. It looked like a moment from Alien 3, which I really, really loved. Not that I'm looking at this for like fan service because I'm not here for that, but it looks familiar but new.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's how we should be looking at it, for like how it's going to challenge us and how it's going to give us things that we kind of expect. We also see Prodigy City, for real for the
Yes,
first time. And
yes.
that's a huge deal because that was something I personally was a little bit kind of cautious about because when you set something on Earth, I think it's very tempting to make it look like either Coruscant or like, San Diego, right? Like in
hmm hmm
2025. And I think what's great about this is it looks exactly the way that I would want it to look, which is like a slightly more futuristic version of a city that we could see existing today. It looks to me kind of like Singapore, but like Singapore in 20 years from now or something. And
hmm
because Singapore is
hmm
already a very futuristic city, I think that aesthetic kind of works. Like it looks like a place where architectural trends that are around now will play out and kind of get
hmm
to. And I'm really excited about like the technology looks really appropriate. And also just in terms of Prodigy City, we see the Maginot. I'm assuming that's the Maginot crashing,
hmm
which is crazy because now we see what the exterior looks like, and it to me at least does not look like an M-class star freighter
It
at
does
all. It
not.
does not look like
Yeah,
the Nostromo. And this whole
yeah, it
time I
does
was
not.
thinking it was going to be this carbon copy of the Nostromo, but it doesn't look like it, does it?
Yeah, it does not look like that at all. And to your point about Prodigy City, I love the look. It's dark. It's a bit dark. It's not this bright, sunny, American city, something that we're used to. It's darker, which I think fits the tone of Alien and it sort of bridges a little bit of the Blade Runner. And again, I think to talk about the trailer briefly, or at least the beginning of it, you see with the little girl and her going into the room where they're going to transfer her body or whatever they're doing. It's very much Blade Runner. It's very much
Yeah.
like human consciousness, cyborgs. What's this about? It's a different field that they're playing with that we've not been in for Alien, honestly. And I'm really excited to see what they go through, what they discuss, what we're seeing, if this is a story about what it means to be human, which I think it really is at its heart, which I think will make this a really wonderful thing.
Yeah, but I gotta say, I was surprised by how much Blade Runner was in this
Yes.
thematically, but also aesthetically. So there's this amazing shot that you have to go frame by frame to
The
catch
Three Towers.
at the end. There's that, yeah, absolutely. But there's an interior shot where there's this, alien is jumping over one of the characters' heads, and it's like I think a pulse rifle like hits a chandelier and it explodes, and so it's very brightly illuminated, and you can see the room that this is happening in looks almost like Deckard's apartment. Like there's kind of stylized tiles on the ceiling, on the walls, and just like the warmth of the light looks very Blade Runner
Mm,
to me. So obviously it's not like a carbon copy of it, but it feels like aesthetically really cool. And it's also just cool seeing, an alien and something that's not like the corridor of a ship or some
yes.
sort of, planetoid or something, but
Yes.
it doesn't feel like, AVP Requiem where, we're seeing aliens attacking, Pizza Huts or whatever. This feels like, this is a slightly futuristic version of something we recognize that now is introducing alien elements into it.
Yeah. And it also the look of I should say the look of well, the entire trailer, but it's got this film quality. It doesn't look
Yeah.
like video, or it doesn't look overly clean, which is always a concern of mine because you see, I watch a lot of content, a lot of shows, and oftentimes even shows set in the future or the past, they might have that like rose tint or that brown tint to give it that whatever feeling they're going for, but it's super, super clean, and which is the tell. And this does not have that, which I'm really excited about. Even with the, the compression that they use to upload the stuff to YouTube or wherever else it goes.
Yeah, it looks very rich. The colors look great. It doesn't have that kind of hyper saturated look, but it also doesn't have that kind of, Snyderverse washed out or Ridley
Hmm.
Scott washed out look that he's been doing lately. It does have really rich tones to it. I also want to talk briefly a little bit going back to the Prodigy City stuff. So we get more information on some of these other life forms, which is like super exciting.
Hmm.
We get a little bit more of the speech by the character that you were talking about, where he's talking about how they came from the darkest corners of the universe, and how they're kind of invasive species, and we get like glimpses of at least a few of them, and one in particular we get a lot of information on. It's an organism called T. ocellus, which ocellus is actually a diminutive of the Latin word for eyeball, so it means literally like something little eye. And
Interesting.
it's fitting because if you freeze it on the little description coming up with the computer, it's an organism that goes through the ocular openings. It punches through the eyeballs of other organisms to go into the organism's frontal lobe and control their brain.
Wow.
Almost like shades of Last of Us a little bit with that.
Yes.
I mean, that's a fucking scary idea. That is an alien idea. That is body horror. That is really freaky. Like I'm already getting nervous about seeing that because it sounds like
Hmm.
to be controlled by an invasive organism that is pierced through your eyes to get to your brain just feels like really dead on for Alien to me.
Hmm. Hmm. I would agree. I think there's even a freeze frame that you see the eye or an eye sort
Yeah,
of
I don't know if
above
that's that.
water. I
I don't
don't
know
know
if
what
that's
that
that one or not.
is.
It might be another one, but that probably is this eye thing. And it's so strange. It's like it's got these like kind of bulging little eyes and then it's tentacles underneath. And it's really off-putting.
It is. One thing I'm really interested in, and we see glimpses of, to your point, is the new creature design, which this isn't, of course, this is a show that's, I don't know if it's primarily about the XX121 or the xenomorph as we know it, but there's four other life forms here. And what's the design in those? That's a hard thing to do, to create something, to design something that can go toe to toe or that can be in the same room as the xenomorph. H.R. Giger designed something that essentially will never be topped. So what we have, what we glimpse, what we see I love. Like there's something like almost like cocoon like in one of the things. You can see it from the distance. It almost looks like flora. It doesn't really look like fauna. I'm not really sure what it is. And then there's another moment where something's jumping, but this stuff doesn't look like run-of-the-mill design that we're always talking about sucks. This looks really, really interesting to me.
Yeah, I agree. I love that one that you're talking about that because it looks almost like an ovomorph too. It's got this kind
Yes.
of like it looks sort of like an egg, but it's sort of not like it's sort of plant-like. And then it shows it opening. I'm assuming it's that same organism like opening and it's opening in reverse, sort of like it's upside down almost. And
Yes.
again, it's just
Yes.
these little things where like it feels like it's from the same, universe, but it's unexpected and scary, you know. And I really hope that they go into this idea of like parasitology more because I think that the idea of a parasitoid or of a parasite attaching itself to a host is really a huge part of what makes aliens so enduringly scary.
Hmm.
And I think we've kind of lost track of that because it's become a trope where it's like you're just kind of incubating. But like there's something really scary about how violating it is for that to happen, where you not
There
only are
is.
an incubator, but like you are now in service of this organism that you have no control. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see more kind of variations on that with these other creatures, which I mean, sign me the fuck up for that, man.
Really, really, truly. And sign me up for the horror. Like even the way the glimpses that you see of the xenomorph, this thing looks vicious. It looks
It does look good.
alive. It looks real. It's the best I've seen it look since Aliens, maybe. It looks so good and slimy. Again, we only see it in moments, but really, I can't stress your point enough where we've sort of lost sight of the body horror. And I just was watching a clip the other day of some type of beetle that was dead, but it was walking up a branch because the whatever
Yeah.
what do you call it? What do you call those things that control them?
Like
The
cordyceps or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was using its brain to use its legs to walk up a branch, and it's terrifying. And those things and those types of things are all over our own world. So to see that in a much larger form, oh my God, I think we're in for something really, really amazing.
Yeah, I feel great about it. We just wanted to kind of touch base quickly and get right on this. We are really excited about this, obviously, as you can tell. I have been holding back a little bit of my excitement just because we hadn't seen anything really from this in detail, and now I'm just fully on board. Like whatever, I'm
Yeah,
I'm gonna just enjoy this, and I can't wait. It comes out in just over 2 months from the time that we are, recording this. And yeah, August 12th. So I mean, it's coming right up. And this is
it
going to
really is.
be another alien summer, just like last year with Romulus coming out, where we're going to be seeing things together. And, you and I are going to be at Comic-Con again, which is going to be great. And we're going to be, as a fan community, once again, so energized, uh, you know, for good, hopefully, but maybe also, in terms of debate and things when this comes out, because I think this is going to make a lot of people very passionate. And we need more of that in this world, you know?
We do, and I'm really, really excited again to your point, Alien Summer. But this year, we're not just getting one film. It's like we're getting four films in the span of 6 weeks. It's going to be an amazing. And the first night that this film or that this show releases, we're getting two episodes. So strap in, everyone.
Yeah. See you soon.
I wasn't recording this, so you should stop.
One second.
I'll just grab the recording from YouTube.
Okay. I didn't record it either, but we'll use the YouTube recording.